I want to share with you in this video what I've learned from spending over $500,000 last year. To give you context, it's officially January. It's about January 9th. And I'm just going to share with you these numbers as I'm just sitting in my couch. Nothing crazy here. I just want to give you some real truth behind what I've learned from spending $500,000 on ads just last year and also generating almost $3 million in cash. To be precise, we generated $2,732,000 in cash. And all this is just from Instagram. So I want to share with you what I've learned, and hopefully you can get some raw truth to realize what it really takes to grow a business and, hopefully produce some numbers like this. So the first thing you got to realize is the name of the game is not leads. The name of the game is what is your cost per acquisition? Meaning, how much does it acquire to get a ideal type of client? And I see this a lot in this space where people will essentially come out here and they'll say, hey, well, you got to get cheaper leads, you got to get cheaper booked appointments and all this and all this. And I'm just going to tell you right away, that's bullshit. You don't need cheaper leads. You don't need cheaper booked appointments. You just need to figure out what your cost per acquisition is. And then over time, see if it's sustainable and then how to bring it down and make sure you're continuing getting the right type of people in. To give you context, right now I believe our cost per booked appointment is around $700. Cost per show is about $800. In November, we had a 91% show rate. And I'll be honest, December went down a little bit by like over 20-ish% just because of the holidays. One of our worst show rate numbers we ever had was in December, but we expected that. So on average, I'd like to say we're around an 80% show rate. And I say that because you need to be able to understand these numbers. You need to be able to understand the KPIs inside your business. And it's actually going to pull up in my screen over here some real KPIs from a month for you. So I'm just going to show you inside the dashboard of what it looks like inside one of our months. So this is November. Like I mentioned, we had a 91% show rate. A couple things to keep in mind. This is not the total cash we did. This is only from our IG funnel, not including any upsells or back end cross sells or anything like that. To give you context, we have a low ticket product, which isn't included in here. And then we have a high ticket product called the Accelerator. And then we have a higher ticket product that's invite only called the Elite. This is only the Accelerator. So I believe this month we actually ended up around like $435 in cash collected. Again, I'll just refresh my screen just to show you guys the numbers I'm telling you are like legit. I don't really care if you believe me or not. If I'm being honest, I'm just showing you. I don't really know anyone else in the space that are producing these type of numbers just from Instagram, let alone just Instagram DM ads, which is kind of crazy to think about. But you can see, spent $53,000 on ads, generated $379 in cash, about $500,000 in revenue, and our ROAS was a 7.03, which pretty stoked about. One of the things where a lot of people talk about is like big ROAS numbers. Here's the honest truth behind that. If you see people with like 19x ROASs and stuff, they're called unicorn numbers, and it's usually when you first start your business. Anyone that tells you they're spending over $50,000 a month on ads and they're getting like a 20x ROAS, run away. It's not legit, I promise you. Maybe like 0.0001% of people can actually do that and achieve it, and it's got to be in a very unique industry. And if they are achieving that, they're not going to tell you. So anyone that's like a coach or a saturated industry, kind of like I am, like I help coaches scale online. I'm in the marketing space, the most saturated industry there is. Generating a 7x ROAS on cash, I'm focusing on cash right here, in my eyes is good. I'm no professional media buyer. I've done it for a while. There's definitely people better than me, but this is just what I would be able to accomplish inside my company with a full team. And to give you context, I didn't take a single sales call. I didn't do any fulfillment. I just managed my company and think of ways to innovate and build cool shit like dashboards like this inside my company. Now, obviously, that makes it sound like it's all rainbows and butterflies. And I'll be honest with you, it's not inside business. There's definitely pros and cons that a lot of people don't talk about, but another video for another time. Back to the KPIs for you on here. We ended with a cost per close at $1,400. So in this specific month, our front end program was, I believe, $12K. So spending $1,500 to generate $12,000 does not suck. Upfront cash collected. This means how much cash we collected upfront on that actual sales call, not including reoccurring. So if I spent $10,000, what I made right then and there from just those calls, not including any reoccurring or subscriptions or anything in the past. That's 266. So you might be wondering, if you don't understand that, what the difference is. This is just like people from part of the revenue from the previous months and stuff paying. So upfront ROAS was a 4.9, meaning if I spent $1 on ads, every time I spend $1, I get $4.90 back. So the question then becomes, how often are you going to spend that dollar? Well, as many times as you possibly can. And that's why this, going into 2025, we are raising ad spend and we are raising our prices. So this time next year, I will probably be spending close to over 6 figures a month. I think realistically by the end of Q1 this year in 2025, we'll be spending $90,000 a month on ads and just keep going from there. So you can see closed deals, 36 closed deals, 91% show rate. Close rate, again, we have a different approach than most people. Most people say, hey, run ads to a VSL, get a bunch of shitty appointments, and then get a 30 to 50% show rate and then just scale. To me, that's miserable. I've tried that. It sucks. My team hates it. I hate it. You bring on terrible clients. So that's why I show this system. That's why we do this, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, imagine you have 10 calls, 9 of them show up every single time. That's what we help our clients do here. And then guess what? When you have really high quality people on the calendar and you pay more for quality people to show up, you close more deals. I always tell my clients, I'd rather you have higher quality people on the calendar so you can close them rather than just sit there and rinse and repeat, because that's the easiest way for burnout. I've gone through burnout. If you want to see my video on burnout, just go through my YouTube, scroll back like 2, 3, 4 years ago. It's a whole video. I shut down a 7-figure business just because of burnout. And I've learned a lot from that. So that's what I help my clients avoid as well. The big thing that a lot of people don't track as well is dollar per lead, not cost per lead, dollar per lead. So let me explain. Cost per lead right here, this is cost per DM. That's how much we're actually spending per lead, $50. If you look at dollar per lead, this is how much money, just new cash, this isn't reoccurring, this is just new cash, do I make off of a lead up front. So for every $50 I spend, I generate $246. So I pocket roughly around $200 just for upfront cash collected on a lead. This is very important to understand to be profitable, because if your cost per lead is more than your dollar per lead, well, your marketing is not sufficient enough and you need to fix that. So for me, it just comes down to every time I generate a lead, I'm basically making $200. It's kind of cool to think about. Ad spend, 14% of total cash right here. So of actual total cash, I believe we're at 435 total cash. So this is probably realistically like 11, 12%, something like that. 14% I'm fine with. 20% is like the actual max we'll go. Anytime we're over 20%, I reanalyze things. Now, to give you context, when I first started growing this, getting up to $100,000 a month, this number needs to be a little bit higher. If you're not at $100,000 a month, you should be willing to spend 20 to 30% on ads to generate more leads, more in the ecosystem. That's just my thoughts. People will say something different, but you can take it how you want. Big thing if you are a revenue person, revenue was a 9.5 ROAS. And again, this is just, I'm just showing you right here. This isn't all of our numbers. This is just from the one system of just the IGDM ads. Sales calls booked, 75, 68 calls taken. They're actually shown. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, our cost per book call was at 719. Our cost per call shown, 793. Now, if I'm being honest, this is a metric right here that I got on my team about that we need to improve, is booking rate. 6.95% is extremely low. And that's something cool about my company that we work with all of our clients on, is we analyze these numbers and we understand we're human. We're not perfect. But instead of just making this number go up, ad spend, let's improve these KPIs first and see if we can do anything before just dumping more money into it. I used to do that all the time. And then this number right here was around 30% consistently. So I was like, all right, this is dumb. Let me optimize my KPIs. It's exactly what I did. We took a show rate from a 60% on regular to, we did 91%. This is definitely higher, I'll be honest. But on average, 80% is where we're coasting on show rate. Just like that, we increased our ad, we kept ad spend the same. We made more money. Our conversion rate was higher. Our show rate was higher. Everything else just started evening out better. So that's what we're going to do on here now, is like, there's no reason this can't be a 12%. Guess what happens when this gets 12%? All these numbers double. That means I can keep ad spend the same, but then cash is going to double. Hypothetically, like it's never a perfect scenario, but let's just say it doesn't double and it just, does like a fourth. Well, that's another, what, $100,000 almost coming through right here based off the same ad spend. So that's why my biggest takeaway, I want to keep these videos short. I'm not going to do any crazy editing. I'm just, I got a lot. I run a full company here. I don't have time to do all these crazy editing, guys. So hopefully you found value. But the biggest takeaway is instead of just spending more money, look at what you can optimize. See what you can optimize. If your close rate is below 20%, what happens if you can get that to 40%? If your show rate is at 60%, what if you can get that to 90%? If your cash collection rate is at 30%, what if you can double that? Well, I'll tell you right there. These are ways to double your business without even spending more money on ads. So hope you guys found value in this video. If you did, let me know in the comments if you like this or not. I'm thinking about just putting some more videos out here, just like when I get some free time, like right now it's after my lunch break and back calls, building things inside my company. I figured I'd just come on here and shoot this video and upload it, see what happens. So if you like it, let me know if you like the style down below. And if not, well, you don't have to watch anything else. But if you do, I'll see you in the next videos.